Outdoorsman! I'm here, Cletus. What are you waiting for? Destroy it! This AR is mine. Oh. Three semi-automatic rifles for the warriors trained to fight, 7 bolt guns for the hunters in their woodland keep, and 9 pistols for the prepared citizens, their guardians armed, and 1 AR-15 to rule them all. Not everybody has the budget for a safe full of rifles, each one with their own dedicated purpose. But what if one rifle could do it all? A single setup that works for close quarters, long range, and even low light conditions. That's what we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about this rifle, all the stuff that I have put on it to make it the best multi-purpose rifle that you guys out there can build. Now, before we dive into the video, guys and girls, I got to ask you, if you're enjoying this, please go ahead and subscribe to the channel, because when it comes to being prepared, the best time to start preparing was yesterday, and the second best time is today, right now. So let's get right into this video. In a close quarters situation, speed and accuracy, they mean everything, whether it's home defense, vehicle defense, or a sudden engagement in tight spaces. You don't have the time to line up a perfect shot. You need something fast, you need something intuitive, and you need something reliable. That's where this setup comes in. Now this right here, this is a Trijicon RMR, and I have that mounted on the top of my primary optic. Now this red dot lets me engage at close range without having to calculate or even think about my height over bore. If you don't know what a height over bore is, that's the difference between where your optic sits and where your barrel is actually shooting. Now, if I go ahead and I use my primary optic, I have to remember that my rounds are actually going to hit a couple inches lower at this distance. It's not a huge deal until you're aiming at a smaller target in a dark hallway. Now I'm going to be aiming just below the A zone there, 2 shots. Let's go take a look. So if you guys take a look, this is where I was aiming right here, and that's where my rounds hit. Now I went ahead and I made a little X on the target here, and I'm just going to go ahead and use my red dot. And you can see here, that's the 2 shots where I shot with my red dot. So we're only talking about maybe 3 inches right there. But that 3 inches at the end of a hallway, that could mean life or death. That's why in a CQB environment, it's easy to miss a critical shot if you're spending all your time thinking about holdovers. But with a top-mounted red dot like this, I don't have to spend time thinking about that. I just put the dot on the target and send it. Point, shoot. Headshots all day. Now, some people prefer to put a 45-degree mount for their red dot right here instead of this top mount. I don't run one personally, but here's kind of what they look like to give you an idea. With a 45-degree offset, you simply roll the rifle a little bit, and that optic will be sitting right here. It keeps the dot a little bit closer in line with the bore of your rifle, which means there's slightly less offset at close range. And some people find that more natural in a CQB setup. Now, you guys know on my channel, I'm always real with you. And I'm going to tell you something, your gear matters, but your training matters more. You can have the right setup, that's great. But if you don't put in the reps, learn your holds, and actually train, all you're doing is carrying extra weight. If you can't use it under stress, then you might as well not have it at all. All right, I know what you guys are thinking. Continuity change much, Will? This is not the range. Ladies and gentlemen, I experienced a solo YouTuber's worst nightmare, and that is issues with audio. I had no audio for this particular section that we're going to talk about right now. The reality is, with the right setup and fundamentals, the AR-15 can be So I beg and ask you for your patience while we talk about the other options on this rifle. And I promise you we'll be back to the range in just a cutscene or two. But yeah, I'm so sorry about that. A lot of people don't think of the AR-15 as a long-range rifle. They hear 5.56 and they assume anything past 200 yards is a waste of time. But the reality is, with the right setup and the right fundamentals, the AR-15 can be deadly accurate at 400 yards and beyond. Now, right here on this rifle, I am running a Vortex Strike Eagle. This is a 1.8 by 24. It's called an LPVO for low power variable optic. And this is mounted right here on a Geisley Automatics Super Precision mount. Now, this optic gives me a true 1x for close quarters, but when I need to reach out, I can dial this up to 8 times magnification, and that gives me a much clearer shot. The other thing that I love about this is that this optic has an illuminated reticle, and this helps me a lot in low light conditions, or more importantly, against a darker target. All right, so let's talk about ammunition for just a second, and I'm actually kind of miffed because I had all of this ammo up at the range where we had the audio problems. Now, a lot of people are going to tell you to shoot, 77 grain match grade ammo for long range, but the whole point of me filming this at the range was to show you all that you can do it with 55 grain. You can ping 400 yards all day long, and I really hope that's what you're seeing right here. As some people call the 55 grain, range ammo, but I found that I don't have a lot of problems being able to hit the 400 yard with that. I'm not saying that that has a super ton of kinetic energy when it hits, but you can still hit it, and I still don't want to get hit with 5.56 at 400 yards. I love this shot that you're seeing right here because you can actually see the trail of the bullet going through the air as I miss this target that we have positioned at 300 yards. Now, I'm obviously not saying that 77 grain isn't better, but good ammo does not a good shooter make. If you know your rifle, if you know your holds, if you know how to evaluate wind, trust me when I tell you this, ladies and gentlemen, you can make those hits. Stop worrying about having the absolute most Gucci, expensive, perfect setup, and start worrying about getting better with the equipment that you have. Now, this right here, this is the HoloSun LE117 IR laser. This is a dedicated infrared laser designed to use with, well, night vision. It's completely invisible to the naked eye, but under NVGs, it gives you a precise aiming point without needing to, look through an optic. Now, on this particular setup, I do not run a pressure pad because I don't have a dual setup right now. So instead, I just keep this laser a little closer to my grip. That way, when I shoulder my weapon, I can push this button up here, which is the fire button, and that illuminates the laser downrange. Now, shooting with an IR laser is completely different from aiming with a red dot or an LPVO. With night vision, you're pretty much just bringing the rifle up to your shoulder, you're firing that laser, wherever that laser is, hopefully that's where your bullets are going to go. Now, that means faster target acquisition, easier shooting from unconventional positions, and less reliant on traditional sight alignment. But like anything else, owning night vision isn't the same as knowing, well, how to use it. If you don't train with it, you're just carrying extra weight. So after all this talking, CQB, long range, and even night fighting capability, the big question is, did we build the one AR to rule them all? No, that's not how this works. But let me tell you what we did. We built a rifle that can do a little bit of everything. And even if you do, carrying all of them in an emergency, yeah, I don't see it. So having one rifle that covers CQB, mid-range, even night use, that's definitely worth something. Now, I know what you're saying. Bro, you should have gone with a 20-inch barrel for velocity, a 2.5 15 scope for long range, and a folding stock for CQB. Yeah. Should I also put a chainsaw bayonet on this rifle while I'm at it? The point is, this rifle is about balance. It's not a sniper rifle, it's not a submachine gun, but it can get the work done at 5 yards, 400, and even in total darkness. You can have the best optic, the best laser, the best ammo, but if you don't train, you're already dead. You just haven't realized it yet. All right, so let's hear it. What would you change about this setup? Different optic, different stock? Let me know down in the comments. And if you got something out of this, please hit that subscribe button because there's a lot more coming. And if you want to support the channel and keep these videos coming, go ahead and check out my Patreon and our YouTube membership options, link down below in the description. That's it, everybody. I got nothing else for you. Okay, one more thing. If you can afford an $800 optic, but you're out here drinking 1 bottle of water a day, buddy, you're dehydrated. You're not tactical. You just have a fucking headache.